you got to realize that whatever you're doing, you're competing with somebody. What is it that gives you an advantage over your competition? Whatever you're good at, try to be great at it. And if you're great at it, good things will happen.
Maverick Podcast.
I'm far from average. That's why I had to come sit down and chop it up with DJ Maverick. They know my name from coast to coast and even in Dallas. I use my talent when I'm faced with a challenge. Gratitude strength is my magnet. Close your eyes and imagine. If you can see it in your mind, then you can have it.
Maverick Podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. This is the Maverick Podcast. I'm your host, DJ Maverick. Today we have another rock star in the building, the one and only Taylormade Jay. Welcome to the pod.
What up? Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
For the 1% of the people out there that don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
As he said, it's Taylormade Jay. You call me your baby mama's favorite shooter.
All right. I like that.
AKA Stefan Spielberg.
If people are confusing you, like thinking your name is Taylor, like the branding must be working, right?
Right. The way I came up with Taylormade Jay is like all of my projects, anything I did with the individual artist, because I didn't always just shoot music videos. I did stuff for marketing companies and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So people always just say, man, like, you know, you got to get you a custom one. You got to get you one of them, you know, something tailor-made for you. So I was just like, okay, tailor-made. But I didn't want to spell it like a tailor,
right? You
know, someone that would custom make your clothes or whatnot. So I just spelt the name Taylormade.
Okay. Or
spelt Taylormade with the name Taylor as a name versus as a job. So it was Taylormade, and then my last name is Joseph. So, you know, it begins with a J, so I just said Taylormade Jay.
You said filmmaking was kind of your first love, right? So tell me a little bit about that. How'd you get started with that?
I got involved with filmmaking. So I'm prior military, U.S. Army, 7 years. And it pretty much came from me going on deployments. And, you know, I was just always the guy that had the camera. So, you know, whether it was we had football games, you know, tournaments, anything, just, you know, dealing with deployment, you know, as being on my first deployment in Joint Base Balad, Iraq, you know, everything was new to me. So I'm just like, I got to capture this. So, you know, my commander ended up seeing me with a camera. He was like, hey, I need you to do this. And I was like, okay, cool. So I ended up filming something. I think it was like a change of command ceremony or something we did overseas. And then it just kind of spiraled from there. People were just always asking me to record stuff. And I had dibbled and dabbed in artistry as well.
Okay.
And I started doing stuff for artists. Like we would go to the MWR, you know, after, you know, we were done working for the day and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I'm in there filming, making these little, you know, ghetto overseas studio videos. So
did you have experience with the camera, or you just picked it up and you started learning overseas, or what?
At that point, or I mean, at any point, no. I was just kind of just, you know, using, you know, quick point and shoots. It wasn't nothing like, you know, nothing stuff I now, you know, where I'm learning about aperture and lighting and key light. And, you know.
That was my next question. How'd you learn about shutter speed, like all that, right?
YouTube University. YouTube
like
University, that. Man. Like, it's amazing. And it's free.
Yeah.
But, yeah, a lot of people swear they think because of, I guess, the quality of my product that I went to some type of school, and they was like, yo, you went to Full Sail in, you know, LA film school? I'm like, nah, I just went on YouTube, bro.
That's awesome.
You know, I found a couple guys on YouTube, and, you know, I studied them, you know, Creative Ryan, YC Imaging, Jacob Owens. He's a real popular film guy out in Arizona now.
Okay.
But yeah, I just got on YouTube, I subscribed to their channels, man, and I just literally would, you know, go to work and come home.
Yeah.
And I get on YouTube with, you know, a bottle of water and some chips, and I'm watching YouTube videos for like 3 hours. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think in particular, YC Imaging, the way he does his storytelling is really cool, where he just like, you know, puts the camera at different spots, takes a shot, goes walk back, move the camera. Like all that storytelling is huge, right? What are your thoughts on that? How do you go about that storytelling?
I just kind of, I've always felt like I've had not necessarily a vivid imagination, but I always had a process when I do my videos. It's just like, you know, if I was to tell the story, how would I want this shot to look? You know, going wide, going close, you know, whether I'm, you know, doing a any type of panning or, just certain angles. It's just like I always shoot things based off of how I would feel if I was a viewer going to see a movie or going to see this music video. How would I enjoy to watching it? What angles and whatnot. So yeah.
You storyboard it out. Do you put your different shots, or it's like all in your head? You just kind of like got the vision in your head and you just make it happen.
When I first started, it was like a lot of run and gun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was kind of, even though I was watching a lot of guys before me that had been doing it for years, I was still making my mistakes. So it was kind of like a lot of run and gun. But as I started to develop my craft over time, I got more into doing, like the storyboards and doing like treatments or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? So once I got into the stage where I was doing treatments, because like I have an artist tell me like, hey, I want to do this whoop to whoop, and I'm like,
you're just thinking about the number of hours and production,
like,
right?
It's like, bro, and then not even that. Sometimes, a lot of the times, they'll tell me that they want to do something and it doesn't even fit the song. Yeah, it's like it'll be. I had I think like a artist. He was doing like an R&B song, but he wanted all this crazy stuff and woo. I'm like, bro, it's not a fast-paced song, so that's you don't see a lot of flickers and stuff like that in R&B. It's normally like the rock stuff, the hyper, up tempo, higher BPM rap or whatever. I'm just like, but yeah.
Did you have any crazy stories? Because I know when I see the people shooting the videos, sometimes like the artist wants to like point guns at the camera and stuff like that. Like it could get a little dangerous. Like I don't know if you got into any sketchy situations shooting videos, but you tell me.
So I do have one. I'm not gonna out the artist's name.
Yeah.
But I will say shout out to my boy Young Jones because he was there. He's a Oklahoma City artist that I've worked with. Well, a good friend and Oklahoma City artist. But he was at a shoot. I can't remember if he was doing a collab with this other artist or whatnot. But long story short, we ended up going to, I believe it was a strip club right off of like around the Western Pennsylvania area. It's like a strip club, or I can't remember. I've been going from the city, for like almost a year now. But it was like somewhere over there. So, but long story short, man, the artist gets drunk. He's got, we're waiting on strippers to pull up and all this other stuff. And
did they know that you were going to pull up? You got like a permit or something?
Yeah. Like, we
at least you did that.
Cool.
Like, you just like didn't run and gun into the place, right?
Yeah, everything was fine. Went to the strip club, talked to the owner. It's like, hey, this is the section that you can use. Try not to get the patrons. Sure. I was like, because I don't feel like doing all these releases, having them sign the paperwork or whatever. And like I said, long story short, the artist ends up getting drunk, and I'm just like, it's so much stuff going on. And my boy Young Jones, I think he asked for him to hit a bottle or whatever, and Young Jones's girl at the time was like wanting to hit the bottle or whatever, and like I said, the artist is drunk, and he was like, man, that B ain't hitting my bottle, whoop to whoop. So Jones is like, yo, chill out, that's my girl, whoop to whoop. And it just started going left, so I was just like, yo, he asked me something, and I just Jones had asked me something, and I had responded, and I remember the artist that I was there working with kind of just like put his finger in my forehead and was like, F what he talking about. Really? And I was just like, bro, don't put your hand on me. But I ended up walking to my car, because I'm irate at this time. It's like, put your hand in my face. So I'm going to the car, just, take my hat off, whoop to whoop, because I'm thinking we about to get down. Or whatever.
Let me format this SD card while I'm at it too, right?
Yeah, what I'm saying? So I'm taking my hat off, whoop to whoop. So I don't know what I'm assuming he thought I was going to get a gun or whatnot.
Okay. And
he gets a gun and pulls a gun, and I'm just standing there like,
that's crazy.
I'm like, what's good, bro? I'm like, I'm not stupid, but I'm not scared either. I was like, bro, I've been shot before, so if it's gonna go down, it's gonna go down. But it was just like, I was just like, bro, you know what? It ain't even worth it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I just cut it here, get your money back. He's like, oh yeah, you gonna give me back my money now? You Taylormade Jay, big money, cut my money now. So I was just like, okay, what's your cash app? Just send it back. Send a few $100s back to him or whatnot. But yeah, it was.
That's crazy. So the project never released. It was like, that's it. Like, just cut our ties right here, right?
Yeah, we didn't even film.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even end up filming that scene. I just scratched the whole thing.
Yeah. It's always crazy. I always hear videographers, all the crazy stories that they have, and oftentimes it's because of the guns and stuff like that, where they want to shoot a hip hop video.
Right.
They're pointing the gun at the camera and stuff, and the videographer's like right in front of it, like right in the mix. Right. It can get pretty crazy.
Yeah, I've been in a few of those. I think when I first started, I was kind of leery, but I just went into, my experience. Like I said, I was prior military, so I knew how to, properly clear weapons and check them.
True.
So
you had an advantage.
I just like, hey, no shade, and I'm not saying that y'all are, under-equipped with the knowledge on how to handle the guns. So just for my safety,
it's
and
easy to make a
safety.
mistake. Even if you are, right?
Yeah,
like,
you know what I'm saying. So look at Bruce Lee. You know what I'm saying. So
for sure,
I just like, hey, I'll check the weapons, and y'all can point them at the camera all day. And, at that point, though, I know there ain't nothing there because I checked them myself. But yeah.
What was did you have like a breakout moment or a breakout artist with the filmmaking? Like, what would you say was kind of like one of your favorite memories with that?
I wouldn't say I had a breakout artist because I've done a lot of work, for local artists. Because when I started, I was actually staying in Lawton, Fort Sill.
Okay.
When I started, I was doing something for a female I was with at the time, actually my daughter's mom. I was doing something for her cousin, State Game Vince. And that's how I ended up meeting Young Jones, because I did something for Vince, and then, word of mouth went to Jones, and then I just started, it just spread like wildfire. As soon as I got with State Game Vince and I shot a video, it just spread like wildfire. Like, I ended up having to move to Oklahoma City because I was getting booked so much.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? So it was, I've worked with a lot of people in Oklahoma City, like at the point, because I felt like, and this is not me being cocky, but at the time when I was in, because if people pay attention now, they notice like they don't see my name a lot, you know what I'm saying? Because it came to a point, a couple years ago that I had to realize, the shift of the need for music videos in today's, market, and, it's a lot of short form content.
Sure.
Artists are blown off of 15, 30-second clips
just
on
TikTok. Right?
So I have music industry friends, and what I'm saying, I'm going to LA a lot. So I'm already kind of seeing this stuff before it even happens. So I'm just like, okay, I know it's about time for me to trying to shift my focus as far as with the camera or whatnot. But like I said, I've worked with before then. I worked with a lot of artists, so I really wouldn't say I had a breakthrough artist, but I will say the word of mouth, and I was working with popular artists. Like I said, I started with State Game Vince, went from State Game Vince to Southwest Dez, Young Jones. All the names are running through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, N7 and PWAP, we had a good run for a few years.
Okay.
So shout out to them, because they actually put me really in the best position. Because at one point they had me getting paid from Empire out in San Francisco.
Yeah, because I think some of their videos were like even like on World Star.
Yeah,
like
we had a lot of drops on World Star, and that really helped me in a sense too, because just with N7 and PWAP, you know what I'm saying, I was already as far as my work being watched, you know what I'm saying, just in the 2-year, 3-year time span, I had already surpassed 3-4 million views.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then, that's how I got a lot of my industry connects too as well through them.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Was it difficult to hang up the gloves, so to speak? Like, I know that was like your first love. You probably really enjoyed doing it. Was it kind of hard to kind of step back, or what?
It was, but I'm one of those people always understand that you're not going to be the last to do it. You know what I'm saying? So before, I wouldn't say I I didn't say I officially put the camera down because you know, as I guess, well, as you know, what I'm saying, I manage Sky, so a lot of the stuff that she does, you know, comes off of my camera.
Yeah, shout out to Sky, because her branding and everything is always like on point for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't really do anything too much with the camera now unless it's for Sky, you know what I'm saying? Because that's my artist now. But I wouldn't say I'm, you know,
not officially retired.
Yeah, not officially
just more
retired.
Exclusive,
yeah,
guess,
just more
right?
exclusive, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I understood. Because there was at one point where this video stuff was all I was doing. I was staying in Edmond, you know, like I moved from Lawton to Oklahoma City. I was staying in Bethany. And I had a job at Centos, you know, driving the semi-truck as a shuttle driver or whatnot.
Okay.
And, you know, like the video stuff was good, but it had just started picking up. And then it had put me in a position to where I was self-employed for 3 years. So, you know, people were booking $6,000 worth of videos in, you know, 1-2 weeks. And I'm just, I was like, yo, I ain't never made that.
But at the same time, it's probably hard to scale, right? Because video equipment is super expensive, right? So tell me about that, because the investment, there's always new technology. Even lenses are crazy, right?
Yeah, glass is really crazy. Glass, especially if you get like something with a low aperture, you know.
More than the camera.
Yeah, it's more than the camera because, you know, my camera itself was, you know, almost $3,000 at the time, $3,000 just for the body, and then the glass on it was like another $700-800. So you looking at over $3,000 just for a camera. And then, you know, I at the time I was heavy on DJI. Like DJI had to be everything. I'm talking about drone, stabilizer, like anything, follow focus, wireless. I mean, like anything I had on my camera, it had to be a DJI. And it's, you know, it just gets expensive. You know what I'm saying? So,
what did you shoot with? You're a Canon guy, Sony guy, Nikon. What do you like shooting with?
Yeah, I'm a Sony guy.
Sony guy.
Started on I actually started on a Lumix GH7.
Okay,
that was my first camera. It wasn't It wasn't a DSLR. It was a Micro Four Thirds. And then I ended up getting the Sony A7 III.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Sony's autofocus is like GOAT. Like if you ask me, like nobody could touch their autofocus. I don't know, their eye tracking and everything.
Yeah, now they're like a robust brand. Like the color science has always been good.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the stuff that I didn't like at the time when I first got into the Sony brand, they've fixed it since then.
Okay.
You know, like rolling shutter, you know, you moving the camera, you see like it
looks all wobbly,
blurry,
right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
Although I will, like I said, I love Sony is because I'm biased. I've always been on Sony, like I said, after, you know, my GH7 or whatnot. But I just feel like Canon was just like always the Cadillac of the camera brands, because it was just like stuff I was seeing people shooting on or shooting with Canon products, like as far as like the color science and you know, I don't know why, but I just feel like Canon's S-Log shooting capability is better than Sony's at the time. Like I said, you know what I'm saying, I've watched Sony grow.
Yeah, for sure. So did one thing lead to another, and that's how you got into artist management, or how did you get into artist management in the first place?
So I actually went to school at ACM at UCO downtown.
Okay.
So I went to school for artist management, music business and production.
That's cool.
You know what I'm saying? So I dibbled and dabbed with calling myself trying to manage artists when I first ended up moving to Oklahoma City area, Oklahoma City area. Like I said, I stayed in Bethany, and at that time I had started working with Young Zay. You know what I'm saying? So I was still kind of, I guess, naive to the job, or, you know, the job description or that field. You know what I'm saying? I just knew I had somewhat of a knowledge base on how to help artists, you know, get heard or get where they need to be, you know what I'm saying? Because I always tell, like, Sky, I always tell her, just like, the key to being an artist, which every manager should know, is you have to position yourself for opportunities, because people aren't just going to come to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's all about how you position yourself for you to be seen and how you for you to be heard.
And also be ready, right? So if a big opportunity comes about and they ask you for an EPK or a video or something, like, be ready. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Right?
Exactly. Be active and not, or be proactive and not reactive.
Yeah, for sure. So maybe what are some of the tips that you would give to some of the artists? What I always hear from artists is like, it's so hard to stand out these days. You know, there's so many people trying to do it. Social media, attention spans are super low. You know, what's some of the tips to stand out, you think?
It's not about, what's that Drake line? It's not about who did it last. It's about who did it the best. Mm-hmm. And the only people that they seem, especially in the market that artists are in now, it doesn't even matter about who did it the best. It's about who does it the most.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I tell, there was another artist I was trying to manage at the time that I didn't actually get to manage because it just didn't work out. But I used to tell her all the time, it's like, if you're sitting at home and you're not hungry, you might see a Burger King commercial or a McDonald's commercial, you know what I'm saying? And you think nothing of it. But you're going to start seeing it so much as, you know, over a 3-4 hour time period of you staying home watching TV.
Yeah.
And, you know, eventually it's around the time when you're getting hungry. So if you just keep seeing this McDonald's commercial and it's time for you to eat, you're, you know, more likely inclined to go,
good, right?
Yeah, you're like, you know what? That does sound good. You know what I'm saying? It's all about marketing. It's all about marketing. That's why, you know, a lot of artists say, like, man, that artist is so trash, and like, why are they on the radio? Why are they keep it? Because of their marketing. It's not even about the talent anymore, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's not even about the talent.
I always hear about, like, quote unquote industry plants, right? Do you think that that's a thing, that actual, like, I don't know if I believe that or not.
It's not really industry plants. I think it's just the entertainment value. Because I tell any artist, you know, I give artists a lot of game for free. Yeah. And I wouldn't even say it's game. It's just stuff that I know, I've seen, I've witnessed. And like I said, I have a lot of industry connects, you know what I'm saying? You know, shout out to my boy, Ray Alba. He's the now the president of marketing for Capitol Records. But,
awesome.
You know, that used to be N7 and P-Wop's manager.
What are the tips to be different?
It's just about, like I said, the marketing. It's about just constantly beating your brand into people's head. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause like I said, that's why you hear a lot of the, you know, not to knock her, but, you know, Sexy Red and, like, the people, they be like, oh, you know what I'm saying, she's trash or he's trash. And, like, yeah, he might be, but guess what? His business is together because he or she is making sure that she's on every radio station, at every social media platform. They are flooding the airways, and especially like TikTok. Like, in the last year, every song that I've added to my iTunes playlist or library
TikTok?
is from TikTok.
Really?
TikTok has put me on. Like, I mean, and it's been, like I said, 15, 30-second clips. I don't even get to hear the whole song. It's just you hear it so much. It's just about, you know, marketing. You know, that's why when you see certain sounds, they're associated with a certain video that you've seen before. So, like, I tell artists, like, I actually had an artist a couple weeks ago and was like, you know, hey, how do I get this song popular on TikTok, or how do I attempt to get it popular on TikTok? I said, well, you find a niche, whatever your niche is. I say, let's just say it's Call of Duty. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Call of Duty head. I waste my $70, $80, $90
nice
every 6 months on that game. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, let's just say you get on Call of Duty, right? And you just upload a video of you, or, you know, you can steal somebody else's video, you know, put a Snoop Dogg image up there, whoop-de-whoop, but anytime you post, you're going to post that type of content and use that song, because there's a lot of content that songs are associated with the type of content that you're...
And then you click on the sound and it brings up all the videos that use that sound, right?
So, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, okay, and that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you aid getting your song out there, because it all deals with association.
Yeah. I think it's there's both pros and cons with the whole TikTok revolution, because when I DJ, like, college parties, high school parties, they're waiting for just like those 30 seconds that they know from TikTok.
Right.
And once they hear that 30 seconds, they kind of get bored with the song. So
Yeah,
you kind of have
it's
to
a
like
wrap.
mix out quick. And man, I don't know, like 30 seconds of every song, like that's, attention spans are kind of trash right now.
And you know what's crazy? I literally just had that feeling. Saying I just left Frontier City with my kids for one of my daughter's birthday, and it's like I hear my daughter play a song in the car, and I'm just singing a part that I know from TikTok. And then after that, I'm just like,
yeah. And you see the kids, they get kind of bored. They're like, all right, what's next? And then they're waiting for that next little viral clip, the 30 seconds. Sometimes they're even 15 seconds.
right.
So just the attention spans, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there, but I do notice a trend where like probably most songs at most are maybe 2 minutes long now compared to back in the day. There was like 4-6 minute songs, right? That was the average.
Right. And that's kind of how like the Baby got in the game, and he did so well on streams because I'm not going to say he developed that formula, but he was smart. He was just like, hey, let's make a quick bop, hook, verse, hook, and cut it. You know what I'm saying? If it's a jam, if it's a hit, you know what I'm saying? If the recipients call it the hit, if the streets say it's a hit, it's so short they're gonna want more. So now they're going back and listening to it, and then they're going back and listening to it again.
And
so
that's like one more count, right?
You know what I'm saying? So now you're just getting stream after stream after stream because back in the day I'm about to be 40 in 2 months. You know what I'm saying? So
man, you don't look like it.
I get that all the time. I get that all the time. I'm an 80s baby, 84, big Virgo.
Awesome.
But it's just like, when I was coming up listening to Bone and, Snoop Dogg and all that stuff, is like you can guarantee every song is going to have 3 verses on there. You know what I'm saying? They were long, 4 or 5 minutes long.
And sometimes they would have a bridge,
Right, yeah.
We never hear a bridge anymore.
Yeah. So it's just like, now it's just like, you barely getting that. You getting, a minute 30, minute 30 and, 2-minute songs. And it's just like, it's a way different process now.
Yeah. So for the people that may not be familiar with what an artist manager does, maybe kind of line out like duties that come with that territory.
Well, first and foremost, if you get into artist management, you have to treat your artist like your kid. Like your artist has to come first. Outside of your personal, stuff, like your artist has to come first, and they have to understand that the artist isn't a part of their entity or their business. They work for the artist.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like Sky, she tells me all the time, she's like, hey, I want to do this and whoop to whoop. And a lot of times she gives me, or I'm not gonna say a lot of times, there are a few times. Let me correct myself before she sees this. And be like, you're fired.
She'll be in the comments.
Right. But there have been a few times where Sky has, said like, hey, what do you think about this? And I'm like, I don't really think that'll work, or, think that's, a good look for you, or it'll work that way or whatever. And, it should be real adamant about doing it. And I tell her, I was like, hey, I'm just here for professional advice. What I would do as a business, from a business aspect, at the end of the day, I work for you. So whatever you say goes. I'm going to rock with it regardless.
Even if you're bringing that history and that knowledge to the table, at the end of the day, you still let the artist make the final call?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Because I think a lot of people, I've seen guys that try to get into artist management and they try to treat the artist as if they're a part of their record label. You know what I'm saying? Like Taylormade, my artist management is Taylormade Entertainment. It's not a record label. I don't run anything. I always work for the artist. So I always tell, any artist that I work with, I'm just here for, my professional, I'm here with professional advice and experience, just to make you aware. At the end of the day, this is still your brand. Okay. You know what I'm saying? When y'all see Sky, she always saying the Flyers. She's not saying Taylormade. Right. She says the Flyers, FSO, Sky High. She's not saying, Taylormade Entertainment, woo-to-woo, because I'm a part of her brand. I'm just here to help and, kind of guide and manage her brand.
Okay. So with the artist management, how do you go about, nurturing that relationship? Because I'm sure sometimes you have to have those difficult conversations, right? There might be disagreements. So how do you develop that relationship where there's a trust both ways?
I guess the outcome, like the outcome of conversations, and then the outcome of things that both the manager and the artist would do. Mm-hmm. Like with Sky, it was easy for me because, like I said, I was working with Sky when she was still part of the group years ago. Sky,
she found you, or you found her, or how did that work?
I think it was either her or somebody on her team reached out to me, but I feel like it was her because I always talked to Sky when at the time when it was time to set up video shoots with her and the group that she was with at the time. You know what I'm saying? So I've known Sky probably now 10 plus years, before I even started managing her. Mm-hmm. But I think we already had a working relationship, and she already trusted, my vision as far as like Sky has always had her own vision, and it was never basic, you know what I'm saying? So that's one of the reasons why I rock with Sky, as far as the management, because she's not just going to be like, hey, I want to shoot a video, get a bunch of girls twerking on the car in the hood, and, that be that. Like, it's always some extravagant video concept or marketing idea, and all I hear is money, 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 money.
I remember the project with the clouds and everything. Like, that was really cool. When she did that.
Rain.
That was cool. Yeah.
And that's like one of the reasons why I love working with Sky is because she really puts a lot of effort and thought into her process. And then another thing too, she understands. It's like I've ran into artists where they don't understand the difference between a manager and an investor. You know what I'm saying? And Sky's always been, willing to put in, because I don't charge Sky for her videos because as her manager, just like, I want to see you win. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even charge her for videos, and I don't even charge her the manager. You know what I'm saying? I told her a long time ago, I was just like, if you want to pay me back in dedication. Let me know that I'm not wasting my time helping you because I believe in your craft and I believe in your situation. And she does that. I mean, this girl done spend racks on like the most simply, like some of the videos that people may see. They look good, but they're so, I ain't gonna say basic, but they're so not really expensive looking, and don't even know, Sky done spent $2,000-$3,000 just for this, you know what I'm saying, this little thing to put out on YouTube. And and I help Sky, from time to time, just like, hey, she'll hit me and be like, hey, Taylor, I got this, whoop, 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 whoop. And I'm like, okay, what is she like, 1,500? I'm like, okay, well, cool. Well, if we split it, you know what I'm saying, I can do 750, you can do 750, and whoop, whoop. You know what I'm saying? I don't, so like, we recently just got exclusive rights to a song, you know what I'm saying? The producer wanted X amount of rights for us to own it, so I just split it right now. I didn't ask her no questions. I didn't ask her for no publishing percentage, no nothing. Like, Sky owns everything Sky does, she does her own. I'm not on any of her paperwork. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't even have a contract. We've been working together for years and never been on a contract.
But it sounds like the foundation is super solid, and you guys both have a mutual respect. So I think it's working out right. We weren't talking, you were even here, like, just kind of visiting, but you're going to shoot a video for Sky while you're here and stuff like that. Yeah,
right? You're going to do a video, shoot some content, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm in the area, why not? So got to maximize the time, because like I said, I don't even stay here anymore. I'm in Atlanta, so just like, I hit up Sky, I was like, hey, look, I told you we started this business, whoop de whoop. I'm off for 10 days. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take some time to myself, but I'm coming to Oklahoma City from this day to this day. We gotta work, and boom, she already blowing up my phone. Yeah, 2-3 days before I come. Okay, this is what I got, bro. I'm like,
everybody's kind of trying to do it independent. They're doing it from home. They're recording stuff from home, and I kind of see like a lot of people don't have an A&R. Like, that role seems to be like a little bit like harder to find these days. What are your thoughts on that?
As far as a A&R, I kind of look at them as like the talent scouts.
Okay.
I just feel like artists can really let their audience or and they can just really pay attention to the analytics. I tell Sky all the time, just like, look, the analytics to tell you who's rocking with it, what you, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it helps guide you to what's you should push more or put more money behind, or you know what I'm saying, whatever the case. I know back in the day, you know, A&Rs would be like a big thing, but it's just like now, it's just like with the tools that are available for artists, it's like it's I feel like the way it's going, it's gonna start pushing out, you know, a lot of stuff. Like, I just recently watched a video with Vince Staples, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot, artists don't see this side of the music business because that's what it's now, a business. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But they don't know things that, like, certain companies are, you know, cutting 500 people from the staff, cutting, you know, 800 people, and, you know, there's other labels that are shutting down, and, you know, because the opportunities for artists to do stuff themselves, you know, artists used to be begging for a deal. You know what I'm saying? Back when I was growing up, it was like that was the thing.
That was
you
the
get
dream.
The deal. Yeah, you get the deal. You get the big machine. They're going to push you. Woo-doo. Now, you hear independent artists, 21, 22 years old, like, I'm not trying to get no deal. Like, you know, I'm making this much money, X amount of money on myself. Right. Why would I want to get with them? And you know what I'm saying? Like, that didn't exist way back when. Yeah,
it's funny that you mentioned that. I was listening to Joe Budden the other day, and he was saying, like, it's basically like the music business is over. He said, like, you know, if unless you're a big, you know, like Drake or maybe like Taylor Swift or something like that, like, they're going to start cutting more and more down, and like maybe even like AI to try to, like, hey, how can we make money without even the artists? And that was like kind of a hot take on his part, but to me, like, it is cutthroat, right? And they're going to try to find out, like, how do we make more money at the end of the day? I don't know. What are your thoughts on AI and kind of like that whole craziness? Because that's kind of a whole, you know, another can of worms, you know?
Yeah. I mean, AI, I feel like it's very detrimental, and not even just in the music industry. Because I remember seeing a clip that somebody had made with AI with the president, with Joe Biden, and it was basically like he was declaring war on Russia, and it's just like, it looked real. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody like me that understands film, and you can tell green screen, and you can tell kind of robotic-y.
Yeah. I always look at the hands. I don't know why, but AI always messes up the fingers.
It's the fingers, and I look at the eye bats. You know what I'm saying? Whenever they blink or whatnot, I'm just like, no. But, you know what I'm saying, to the untrained eye, and that's crazy that you said that, because, like, sometimes, like, I'll be watching the movie somewhere with my girl, and I'll be like, yo, that wasn't like that, or woo-too, or look at this. You know, like, when they cut to the scene on Baby Boy, the iron was up, and then it went to the mom and went back, now the iron's down.
That's all about being that filmmaker and just, like, noticing all those little details.
Yeah, she's like, oh, my God, you ruined movies. But, yeah, it's just like the AI thing, especially in the music industry, I think is going to be very crazy because, I mean, people are dropping so many remixes, and then they'll get on YouTube and post it and be like, hey, leaked this, whoop-de-whoop. And I primarily see it with people using it to build their page up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that became a big thing, but even before AI, it's like people would post, like, you know, rain sounds or whoop-de-whoop, get all these different people, and then they'll go back and delete all the content. Now they start putting their actual content that they want to push up there, and they've already got, you know, 1.2 million followers, or you know 500,000 followers, because they didn't build it up on some BS. But yeah, as far as the AI,
it's pretty crazy. It's kind of like the Wild Wild West right now. Even like Bad Bunny, he was super mad. Like, he has a WhatsApp group, and he was like, if you like that AI song, like, get out of my group. And he was like super mad because there was a whole song that was a Bad Bunny song, but it was all AI.
Sometimes I just feel like people take things that could be used as useful tools. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with AI, I can see it being implemented in, you know, at-home learning, e-learning, you know, for kids that are homeschooled. But like I said, the biggest thing I've seen, you know, the biggest things I ever see with AI that hit the news or, you know, trending, it'd be something negative. With people dropping Snoop Dogg stuff and this, that, and the third, and it's just like, hey, I'm playing Call of Duty as a Snoop Dogg skin. And it's just like, now I'm wondering, like, well, is this AI? You know, or did Snoop Dogg actually get with Activision and, you know, do this? So it's just, I don't know. I really don't just rock with AI, you know, because it was even a thing to where AI was doing this, how how you would look in the 80s and how you would do in the 70s,
Oh,
what your
yeah,
kids
I
would look
remember that.
like. And then they're taking these images and they're applying, or they're taking the technology and applying it to sexually explicit AI generations. And now they're selling this stuff on, Pornhub and, Xvid. It's
Yeah, I think you definitely have to read the terms, because sometimes when you're like, oh, there's this cool like face app or whatever, in the terms they're saying all the images, all the content that you upload,
right,
we're going to use it to train our models, basically.
Right. Yeah, so like now I get on, like I need to do it on this phone, but like I'm about to turn off the face recognition. Like anything that does anything that alters your face or does the face recognition, it's just like I'm trying to stay away from it. Like it asks, like, hey, Facebook wants to track. Nope. Do not allow. It's like I don't even want these phones to do anything but call.
Atlanta versus OKC, is it easy to adjust? Which one do you like best? What are the pros and cons there?
Well, like I said early offline, I moved to Oklahoma City from Georgia, so it wasn't really like a culture shock.
Okay.
But I will say, for me, I feel like Oklahoma City is like the Atlanta for Oklahoma.
Really?
It's a lot in common. I feel Oklahoma City is really slept on. When I came here, I didn't expect to, be a part of the things that I was a part of, or, I didn't even know the music scene was really that crazy here until I got into, film directing or whatnot.
Especially if I'm going to do music. A lot of people are always like, Atlanta's where you want to be, or Nashville's where you want to be, depending on what type of genre you're in.
Yeah, because, they consider Atlanta one of the, music meccas, you know what I'm saying, if you're trying to make it. But I think a lot of artists, I've heard artists from here say, man, I'm about to move to Atlanta and move. And they don't understand that, you might be one of 1,000 rappers out of Oklahoma City, but you're moving to Atlanta, you're going to be one out of 1 million. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where everybody likes to go to, Atlanta and L.A.
Right.
Atlanta and L.A., you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, Atlanta's like oversaturated, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't even really primarily do too much work or did too much work in Atlanta with videography, because there's a lot of people that do videography in Atlanta. It's like, I've heard chicks from here saying like, hey, I'm gonna move to Atlanta and do hair. And it's like, Atlanta is like a hair capital.
It's like saturated.
Yeah,
right?
you know what I'm saying? So you move to Atlanta, every chick you run into is either gonna do lashes, nails, or hair.
Yeah.
You know
better
what I'm
be like on the top of your game.
Yeah,
right?
like you got to be either charging the cheapest or you got to be the best. It's one of the two. So
Let's talk about flying. That when I saw that on your IG, I was like, what? That's super interesting to me, because sometimes when I'm flying, I don't feel comfortable, and I don't know if it's because I'm not in control. Like when I'm driving, I'm in control. I know, like if I hear a sound or if I'm going to speed up or whatever, I know it's because I'm doing it. Sometimes you're on the plane, you hear the sound, you hear like the wheels go up, you're like, wait a minute, is that supposed to happen? Is that like a normal sound? Like, tell me about flying. What drove you to want to do that?
So being a pilot was always something I wanted to do as a kid. And I don't want to sound cliche, but there's a lot of things that, African Americans, you didn't see a lot of them doing growing up. So, even though it was a passion, or I felt as a kid it was a passion of mine or something that I wanted to pursue when I got older, I didn't really have a lot of encouragement, whether it was somebody I knew or, somebody in my family that did it. And I didn't really see a lot of black pilots just in general, whether it was, a movie or a commercial or in real life, you know what I'm saying? So now that I'm in it, it's kind of like, damn, I waited so long. But now that I'm in it, it's a rush. It's a different feeling, bro.
Yeah.
It's, you know what I'm saying? It's like when I first started learning how to ride motorcycles as a kid, and then, I got into, going from dirt bikes to, crotch rockets. It's just like a whole different experience.
Yeah. Paint that picture for me, because I've never flown before. So once you're up in the sky and you're in control of this plane, like, what does that feel like? Like, and then you see all the controls, like, which ones do you have to pay attention to? To me, it's like a lot going on.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy is I thought like just seeing all that glass up there and meters and numbers and lights and all that, man, you don't even use probably maybe 20% of that stuff while you're up there.
Really?
Because a lot of the stuff is just for you to know.
Okay.
If you need to look at it.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff is audible, and you know, I always known about autopilot, but you know, nowadays pilots don't even fly planes. The only time a pilot actually flies a plane or maneuvers a plane is through taxi, takeoff, and landing.
Okay.
You know, because once you take off and you get, you know, X amount of feet in elevation and whatever heading you need to be on, it goes on autopilot. You know what I'm saying? The pilot ain't doing nothing else after that. Either he's asleep, you know what I'm saying, and letting the pilot in command, and you know they'll swap out or take turns sleeping the rest or whatever. But
it's probably a good thing that they close the door. I don't want to see the pilot asleep when I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, but you know, as far as for me, like when I started school, you know, I'm in a smaller plane, so you know I'm dealing with a lot of the turbulence. You know, turbulence is different when you flying a PA-28. You know,
you feel
Cherokee,
everything.
You feel everything because it's just a small, you know, 4-seater plane. You know what I'm saying? Versus you in a, you know, Boeing or something, you know, or Airbus or you know whatnot is not as bad. But yeah, the experience, man. Like I said, it's just different.
Yeah. No fear? There was never no fear, like when you were first doing it? I mean, now you're probably accustomed to it, but when you first, you know, took off.
Yeah, when I did my discovery flight in 2023, it was just like, whoa, because the guy that actually did my discovery flight ended up being my full-time instructor.
Okay.
And, you know, we're going down the runway at, you know, 60 knots, and then he was just like, you know, pull back on the stick, and then once I pulled back, he just took his hands off, and it's like, it's all you. And I'm like, yo, what? Wait, what?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I didn't until now, or until I went through pilot school, I didn't really have an understanding. But flying a plane, people ask me all the time because, you know what I'm saying, like I said, they just amazed, one, that they see, you know, someone that looks like me or, you know, like, what? You fly planes? Like, yeah, but it's a whole lot easier than you would think.
Really?
To me, it's like driving a car.
Okay.
It's almost just like driving a car.
What would you say is the most challenging? I always hear that landing is like really a controlled crash. I don't know. That's what I always hear, but you tell me.
Yeah, because you're trying not to stall out. It's a lot to take into consideration when you're landing, where you have, you know, crosswinds, tailwinds. You know, I'm not sure, you know, what your extent of as far as, you know, viewing any type of YouTube videos or not, but there's a lot of times where, you know, planes will be coming in and they'll get a gust of wind and the plane will be turned like this, but it's still going straight.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's because the pilot's purposely doing that, you know, using, you know, their rudder on a plane. So this landing is definitely.
Would you say that's the most challenging?
Yeah, it's the most challenging because taking off is, you know, either you got to have flaps, full flaps, or, you know, 1 notch of flaps, 2 notch of flaps. And it's like every plane has their specific, not rotation, which is basically rotation is just another word for, you know, for pulling back on a stick for takeoff. You got to wait till your aircraft reaches a certain speed, whether it's, you know, 60, 70, 80, 90 knots, and then until you rotate, and that's when you just pull back and take off. That's that. You know, you wait till you get 1,000 feet above ground level, which, you know, majority of airports is, you know, you can't really, you have to stay straight on course with the runway until you reach 1,000 feet. Then you turn to whatever heading they advise you to. But I mean, that's pretty much it. Take off, hit 1,000 feet, you know, turn to whatever heading they want you to go, and then you just put it on autopilot and you go there. But that landing is something different because you got to worry about crosswinds. You got to get worried about the traffic pattern. You got to talk to, you know, ground control, and they could be directing you. Somebody might have the same tail or a similar tail number to you. You think they're talking to you, but they're talking to the guy that's ahead of you, and it's a lot.
What's been the most memorable thing with the whole flying thing?
Spain class without the A, which is basically just a retarded way for them saying spin class.
What is that?
This is where they intentionally put the plane in a spin and you have to recover it. It's part of training. So you do spin class and you do stall class. But yeah, so spinning and doing spins and or recovering from spins and recovering from stalls was probably the craziest.
Okay.
I remember when I got the text from my instructor and it was just like, he was like, hey, good, he was like, good job on your ground reference maneuvering and, picking places to land in emergencies. Like when you come back next week, we're going to work on stalls. And I'm like,
you're like, what?
What? He was like, you're going to work on stalls. You're going to put the plane into an intentional stall and you're going to have to recover it. I'm like,
man.
You do realize that's why planes crash, because they stall, right?
Right. Why are we going to turn off something that's perfectly fine, running just fine, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was probably, I would say, at this point in my pilot journey, it was probably the most craziest, scariest experience.
Do you have to practice, like, being able to control the G's and sort of have that, a lot of, like, fighter pilots, they have to, like, practice, with the blood flow and all that. Do you have to do any of that?
Not as of right now, because I'm not operating any aircraft that really pulls that type of G-force.
Okay.
Although all planes can do it, but just some planes are built for it, some planes are not. Like the plane that I've learned in, like I said, it's a Piper PA-28.
Mm-hmm.
You can't let it spin, I think it's to the left. I don't know what it is about it. If the plane begins to spin, like when you're trying to recover from a stall and it begins to spin to 11, if it goes into a complete spin, it'll snap the wings up from the fuselage.
That sounds great.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So whenever you do your recovery, you have to push your rudder, full right so it doesn't spin left. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, it's a lot to take into consideration when you're flying. But it's.
What's your end goal with that? What do you want to like own your own plane? Do you just
I definitely want to own my own plane. But I kind of wanted to tap into a different bag, just because I've always felt like I've never really wanted to be just the average 9-to-5 guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I have multiple kids, you know what I'm saying? I got 5 kids, so it's just like, I've always been able to take care of my kids, but it's just like I wanted to create something that they could possibly fall in line with, you know what I'm saying? So like I said, I've always wanted to be a pilot since I was a kid. It's just I waited till now to do it, but they say better late than never.
For sure.
But my end goal was to at least just get my license by plane, whether I'm taking private charters or at least on to. There's like a couple guys I follow on YouTube, like Flywell Owen, and then this is another guy that does a lot of work out of Miami. His name is his YouTube is Gear Down. But they're the ones that really push me to say like, yo, this is what I want to do, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna get the bag, because they taking 2-3 trips making $15,000, and all they got to, and these people that are employing them to fly, they're paying for them to get to. They're either paying them to go pick up the jet, to come pick them up. You know what I'm saying? Take care of the hotel, their daily rate, whether it's $3,500 for the day or $4,500 for the day, and they're making crazy money, and all they're doing is just flying a plane
and get to travel probably to all these exotic places.
Yeah, they're not paying for hotel, they're not paying for rental. Like, a lot of the instructors at my school, they either go to the airlines, because you got to have like 1,500 hours to go to the airlines, but they'll stay an instructor once they get their license. And a lot of the times, like I'm on my second instructor. My first instructor, I'm on my third instructor. My first instructor got picked up by Delta because he had reached his 1,500 hours. And then I had a female instructor. She actually got picked up by a family that owned a private jet. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But that's how you fall into those situations. So I was just like, you know what? That's what I want to do with my career, because, people ask me, like, yo, what do you want to do? Commercial? I'm just like, nah, doing commercials kind of like truck driving. It's like it's too many restrictions. You can only fly 70 hours a month, and it's I don't want
money's limited.
Yeah,
it's
the
capped,
money's limited
right?
and whatnot. So I just I just want to fly private. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, continued success with that. Let's talk about Beaumont, Texas. Tell me about Beaumont, Texas.
In a nutshell, Beaumont, Texas is not where you move to raise a family.
Really?
Yeah,
No?
it's rough. Man, I moved to Beaumont. I had dropped out of school. I think I was like 17. I ended up getting kicked out of my mom's crib. My stepdad kicked me out, and I ended up going to, Beaumont, Texas. Moved in with my biological father and his wife at the time, and it was the same stuff. I was just, I think I've always been a problem child, but I get to Beaumont, I become homeless, and I start, getting into gang banging.
No way. You were homeless for a while?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So that's actually how I met my best friend, White Mike. I was homeless, and, he ended up taking me in, at a time when I felt like I ain't have anybody, you know what I'm saying? And, he was even risking, his livelihood, because his mom was like, you keep bringing him over here, and whoop-de-whoop. It's just like, you're going to be out there with him and whatnot. So, but, it was times he would sneak me in and let me sleep under his bed, and he would say, like, hey, bro, I'm about to go to school. But, my mom goes to work at 6 or 8 o'clock or whatnot, so I'm underneath this bed just waiting, till his mom went to work before I, get around, go in the kitchen, give me something to eat, sit on the couch, watch the TV. But, yeah.
I never would have pictured that. Beaumont, Texas sounds like a homey place, like a small town or something.
It's a very small town, but it's very rough. It's like one of those places. I feel like it's one of those. And people say it about Oklahoma City, which I don't know why, but for sure, Beaumont is like one of those places. Because I'm pretty sure you heard people say it's just like, if you don't get out, this place will consume you.
Yeah.
You'll never go nowhere. Beaumont is definitely that. It's just like either you get out or you stuck there, gang banging, on drugs, or you working at the refineries. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's pretty much all I saw, while I was in Beaumont. Like, my dad was doing the same job for the longest, what I'm saying? Not to say he wasn't successful, but it's just like, I just wanted more than that. And Beaumont's rough. I've lost a lot of friends in Beaumont just because of the type of people that live there. Like, it's like they live for one thing, and one thing only, or they live with no hope, or they live with, like, this is it for me. This is good as it's gonna get for me. And so that's how I actually ended up joining the military, because I left Beaumont, after after seeing or hearing about, one of my close friends getting shot up by undercovers at Jack in the Box, and I was supposed to have been with him 15 minutes prior. You know what I'm saying? On top of after losing a homeboy just 5 days before that, and I was just like, I'm cutting it close, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I got to do something. And the only thing I felt at the time for me to leave Beaumont, Texas, was join the military. So, that's how I ended up getting introduced to Oklahoma City.
Wow. How did you escape, like, being homeless? Like, if you think about being homeless, like, it could be like kind of like, that's it. Like, people give up oftentimes when they're there, right?
Yeah, for sure. I don't even have an answer to that. I don't know how. I just knew every day, I knew that wasn't it for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just felt like I had to make it past where I was at. You know what I'm saying? And then in this time, during this time, I also had my first kid. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I had to think about him. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I couldn't say people like, oh, life did this, or the man did this, or whoop. It's just like, I never wanted to be one of those people to make excuses, and now I got to explain it to my son,
right.
Well, why you didn't do this, or why you didn't do that, you know what I'm saying? So I've always been, I've always had perseverance, let's say that.
Okay.
That's how I got through it.
Let's talk about your playlist. If I pull up your playlist right now, who am I going to find in your playlist?
Man, you're going to see Mooney Long. You're going to see her, SZA, Summer Walker.
Okay. The ladies are killing R&B, right? Like, if it wasn't for the ladies, I think R&B would be in trouble.
Let me tell you, my girl gets tired of hearing because I have multiple playlists on my phone, but none of them are completed except for my R&B I got like 100-something songs on that thing. You know, like the trap has got like 1 or 2 Future songs, and might have some Dobie on there. But I've primarily been on R&B, more specifically female R&B, because I just feel they do it better. It's just like a lot of the guys that I hear is always, you know, sexually explicit. It's just like everybody, male R&B, with the exception of maybe Bryson Tiller, and some new guys that I can't recall their names, but I'm just getting onto that's like actually just, you know, R&B vibes. Yeah. But outside of
I would put October London in that group. I think October London's doing some cool stuff.
You know what? I've heard somebody say something about that artist not too long ago. I still haven't ventured off into the music or whatnot. Yeah. So
plug in your social media or anything you got upcoming.
You can follow me on tmj.official on Instagram. And then artist management, they can find me at I am FLAJ. That's Jay. I am FLAJ. And Facebook, they can find me Taylormade Jay, the classic name.
Awesome. So you're still trying to build that roster, and if someone's looking for artist management, you're open to that?
As far as building the roster, no. Just because I got other stuff going on in business. Like I said earlier offline, me and my girl just started a trucking company, so that's been full time for the past month. But eventually, when we get to a point to where, you know, I'm not doing that, and I can focus more back on the artist management, I'll definitely be looking to get a roster going for sure.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for your time. I know you got like a million things going on. Definitely enjoyed the conversation. Thanks for coming by.
For sure. I appreciate being here, and I appreciate you for having me.
Keep grinding, because in dreams we trust.
Yes, sir.